everyone. So this is the second installation of the videos that I promised you guys to continue the work that we started at our inversion workshop. For today's practice, you'll want either a pair of socks or a blanket of some kind. And yeah, so we'll get started. Again, we'll do just a brief warm-up. We'll work on some core exercises, and then one, maybe two postures that can help build both strength and flexibility towards our inversions. And then today I thought we'd talk a little bit more in detail about how to get off the wall. So we'll get started. So make your way to a comfortable seat. So we're going to start with another Kundalini exercise. And the basic movement here is very similar to a cat-cow, but you're going to be upright. I like to sit in hero's posture, which basically is sitting on your feet, sitting on your shin bones. If this is uncomfortable, you can sit on a pillow, you can sit on some kind of block or a blanket. You can also do this sitting in your traditional easy pose. So, in Kundalini Yoga, one of the things that's really important is actually the angles of the body. So you're going to bring your arms out into a V, to about a 60-degree angle. And you're going to move, not just your hands, but your shoulders, your inner armpits. Those are going to move back and forward, back and forward. So we're really working on getting the upper spine to move. So like you would in a cow, you're going to arch your spine so the arms come back, allow your upper spine to move forward, and then push your arms forward and move your upper back. And you can move slowly, maybe build up a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum, and make the breath strong. So really in and out your nose with your abdominals. Keep breathing. You can start to slow it down. And then, again, we'll stop there for now. But I recommend doing that maybe for 30 seconds to a minute, maybe build your way up to 2 or 3 minutes even. And then once you're finished with that exercise, just pause, take a breath or two. And then make your way directly into your downward facing dog. So we're going to use lunges as a way to warm up today. We'll do one slow round just to really work into the alignment, work into the details of the posture, but then we're going to move a little bit more quickly with breath. So bring your right knee towards your chest, pull your heel up and round your back, and then use that power you're generating here to step your foot forward into a lunge. You want your knee to be directly over your ankle and your left heel, your back heel vertical. So let me pull my pants up so you can see that. But bring your heel vertical. And then try to keep your back thigh pushing up so your leg is straight while still reaching your right knee and your chest forward. And lift your torso. You can bring your hands to your hips for more stability or bring your arms up over your ears. Align your arms with your ears. And now pull your ribcage towards the back of your body. Pull your low belly up and in, so toe in your abdomen. Hug your shoulder blades together and pull your shoulder blades down away from your ears as you move your ears up toward your fingertips. And now stretch through your fingertips without lifting your shoulders. So once you reach up, don't let your arms travel up again. Pull the shoulders down and then stretch your fingertips until your arms feel completely straight. And then lower. Step back to plank. We talked about our plank last time, so I'll skip that for now. But we'll do a chaturanga push-up. So come forward so your shoulders actually come past your wrists. I highly recommend dropping your knees because you don't want to let your low back collapse. Keep the ribs pulling in and your abdomen super strong, your back mostly straight. Shoulders past the wrist and lower your elbows to a 90-degree angle. And squeeze your shoulders towards your spine, pull your navel in, and keep your chest and chin up. And then push back up, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Pardon me, my phone's going off in the background. But bend your left knee to a square. Keep that back heel vertical. Keep your thigh pushing up. Stretch your chest forward. When you're ready, come up. Either hands to the hips or arms up over your head. Again, push your front thigh, the front of your back thigh back. Move your low belly up and in, your rib cage back. And then keeping that, push your upper arms and skull back to your torso, straight up and down. And then with all your power, stretch out. Touch down, step back to plank, shift forward, lower halfway. So bring your elbows to a 90-degree bend and squeeze your shoulders to your spine, pull your belly button to your spine. Push up and back, downward facing dog. So I'm just gonna do that 2 more times with breath. I recommend 3, maybe 4 or 5 rounds with your breath. So you're just gonna step forward, stand strong, stretch up, touch down, step back, push up. Down dog, lunge, push down through your feet, stretch up, touch down, pull your belly in, push up. 1 more round, lunge. So you're warming the muscles, getting a little movement through the body, so you're strengthening and stretching everything simultaneously. When you're done, rest in down dog, take a breath or 2 here. Come to a forward fold. Keeping your knees as bent as you need to make sure your fingertips are on the ground. Connect your lower ribs to your thighs. Let your head fall towards your shins. And stand firmly through your feet. From the bottom of your butt to the tops of your hamstrings, push your hips towards the ceiling. And stretch the head and chest towards the floor. And stand on up. All right, so for our core exercises, I'll show you once with a blanket and once with socks. Also, if you don't have hardwood in your floor in your house, using paper plates on carpet works really well. Or you can use socks on your mat. That works too. So I'm actually going to move my mat out of the way for now. So you want a fairly thin blanket. Place on the hardwood. Then I'm going to come to plank pose with the tops of my feet on the blanket. And the key to having the tops of your feet on the blanket safely is to really push the toenails into the floor and squeeze your inner ankle bones together. So not just your inner thighs, but really start squeezing from your inner heels, inner ankles, and shins. So that way the legs are really strong and supportive of the posture. If having the tops of your feet on the floor just feels really unstable or unsafe in your body, you can keep your toes curled under. So you're going to start in plank pose. So either toes curled under or tops of the feet to the floor. For the first round, I'm going to keep my hips low. I'm going to use my core. I'm pushing my feet. I'm going to use my core to pull my knees to my elbows and then push them back. So notice that my hips aren't dropped. My belly's pulled in. My hips are level with my chest. My chin's out of my chest. I'm pushing the hands down. And pull. Knees to elbows and back. Knees to elbows and back. Now, my knees are separating a little bit as they come forward, but see if maybe you can keep the thighs together. So you can do that with a blanket, or socks are also helpful, as long as you have something that can slide. It's hard to say which is more difficult, bringing your knees to your chest with your hips low like that, or what we're about to do next. So try both. Do more of whatever's easiest, but don't just do whatever's easiest. Challenge yourself to do also what's hardest for you. So this time we're going to try to keep the legs straight, arms straight, tops of the feet to the floor. And you can do this with your blanket too. I'm just showing you once with your blanket, once with the socks. So instead of knees to chest, you're going to lift your hips up and pull your toes forward. So your feet might not come all the way forward towards the fold, but that's okay. But just think about bringing your feet as close to your hands as you can. So pull your belly in. Your shoulders will go a little bit past your wrist, but not too much. Push down, look down toward your thumbs, and pull your feet toward your hands and push them back. Push and back. The entire time, your legs are squeezing in, legs are straight and strong, and you're pulling your feet forward and pushing them back. It's pretty hard. So start with maybe 4 or 5, take a break, do 4 or 5 more, and then build your way up to maybe 8, 10, so on and so forth, and maybe do like 1 or 2 sets of each. And now once that gets easier, or if that's already, I'm out of breath, so easy might not be the best word, but once that feels comfortable, might already feel pretty comfortable, you might try a similar exercise in handstands at the wall. So basically, the wall is like the floor. So you'll start in an L shape, and then walk your feet up the wall, walk your hands towards the wall. Not too close, just close enough. And bring the tops of your feet to the wall, and you're gonna pull your knees to your chest, and then push your toes up the wall. Squeeze your knees towards your chest, and push up. Squeeze, and push. Squeeze, and push. Walk your hands back out. Walk your feet down. All right. Whew. So that's really, really tough work. It's a different kind of difficult. So even if the blanket pulls on the floor are hard, maybe try that if you feel like you can hold your weight for a little while, and just to see what it's like to really pull the knees in. So you're using your low belly to pull the knees towards the chest, and using your abdomen to push the legs up, using your legs to push up towards the ceiling. All right, great job. So, stretch for the day. It's a standing split, and we did work on standing splits at our inversion workshop, but I can't stress enough how crucial standing splits are to a handstand practice, or to any inversion practice really, because it's a really great hamstring opener, but you're also training the strength of your lifted leg to hold itself, and maybe eventually even train that lifted leg to pull you up. So, from our forward fold shape, blocks may be helpful here. So, I know you gotta get on blocks, any kind of books or anything to kind of give you a little lift off the floor will do. And blocks are just helpful if your hamstrings are feeling tight. You can also practice with bent knees. So, I'll do the first side with blocks, second side without. So, in fact, start with both of your knees a little bit bent. And here's how I want you to get into it today. Stand into your left foot and clamp your right heel towards your hip. So, you're using your hamstring to pull that in. And now keep the heel point towards the hip and push your foot up so your thigh lifts. Now, as the thigh lifts, sometimes to get the leg higher, we tend to lift the hip up. See, my leg looks like it got higher, but my leg actually isn't doing the work. My hip's doing the work. So a trick to a good standing split is to keep the lips level. So pull your outer right hip down, pull your left outer hip back, like we talked about last video in our half splits. This is kind of like the half split shape, right? Just in a different plane, with my back leg up in the air versus on the ground. So squeeze the heel in, pull your left hip, your bottom hip, up and back, and lift your knee without lifting your hip. And now you might stay here for a while, or try to keep your thigh bone that high, try to keep your hamstring that strong, and push your leg straight from there. So notice my leg might not look that high, versus here, it looks like I'm in a deeper split, but that's because my hip is lifted. I'm going to bring my hip down, roll it in line with the left, and yeah, my leg is substantially lower, but it's actually a much more effective and efficient standing split. So, my standing leg is bent, widen my knee to left, bring my head down. You can keep your hands on the blocks or bring them to the floor. And now my upper inner thigh of the standing leg, squeeze it in and up, so my leg lifts the leg. After a few breaths, release. Second side. So start with both your knees bent, your chest somewhat up. Clamp your left heel towards your hip and push your thigh up. Keep your hips level. With your knees still bent, lower your chest to capacity. Push your hands down and forward. Forward meaning towards the front of your mat. And use that to help bring your chest in. And then keeping your hips square to the floor, lift your leg with your leg. So my standing foot is push, pounding through the floor, and my floating legs pushing through the ceiling. And my inner thighs are squeezing, and my outer hips are working to keep the hips as square as can be. So you might not be able to see, but this hip is kind of collapsing towards you, kind of collapsing towards my shoulder. So I want to push my hip up and away from my shoulder and squeeze it in towards my left inner thigh. Whew. Your standing split should be hard. Like, make it work for you. Like, really work the legs, work the hips, work the core, work everything, and breathe. All right? So, let's talk a little bit more about how to get off the wall. We'll start with headstand. So use the wall to begin. But set yourself up with a little bit of extra space. So whereas normally you might only start like 3 or 4 inches away from the wall, start maybe like half a foot or so away from the wall. So right now I'm doing this version of headstand. You can also do tripod, whatever your favorite is or whatever you're working on. This just happens to be my favorite, and we're talking more about the upper body, what's not on the ground, right now. So whatever foundation you want to choose that. So your hips come over the shoulders. You'll bring one leg up, like you're standing split. Use your leg and reach up, and maybe just bend one knee and kind of pull that heel towards the hip until you can get your leg to the wall. And then once you got yourself up, come on up. Now, bring one leg off the wall. Push that leg up, squeeze your thighs in, and push your head and your forearms into the floor. And see if maybe, with the strength of your leg, you can bring your other leg to meet the other one. And one at a time. So bring one leg off first. And I'm using my inner thighs to pull my leg to meet the other one. And it can be hard to find stability in that posture, but at least that way you know you have the wall there. So you can start to just use your legs to pull your legs off the wall. And you're also using your abdomen. So typically, the spine tends to do this shape. And so you're lengthening your tailbone towards the backs of your knees and pulling your low belly up. So you're typically like this, and then and using this action of pulling your pubic bone towards your navel, pull your navel towards your spine, and like you're crunching, that crunch will help pull your legs off the wall. So imagine there was a wall here. So typically what happens is my hips, my legs are dropping towards that wall, and my spine is really arched. So pull your feet towards the front of your body, tailbone up, belly in, and that'll help bring you back into one line. So my suggestion for you when making that transition from the wall to space is have a friend. Like, find someone who's willing to watch you, who's willing to hold your legs for you, because a person obviously is a lot more adjustable than a wall is. They can kind of hold you and then practice backing away so that you can start to gain your confidence, because I assure you that when you start to make that transition from the wall to the space off the wall, chances are the biggest thing holding you back is all in your head. It's just that fear component. And so having someone to spot you and to be there to make sure that you won't fall can be really encouraging. As far as alignment goes, we started to talk about it at the very last minute of class on our workshop day, but similar to what I did was just showing you, not only is overarching the spine one of the things that might pull you or prevent you from finding stability straight up and down, but what that also is doing is it's pushing your thigh bones too far forward. And when I'm talking about forward here, I'm referring to the front of the body versus the back of the body. So going back to this shape again, You want your thigh bones to basically stack directly underneath or under your shoulders. So that your thighs and your hip points, instead of pushing forward when your shoulders pushing back, you want to try to bring them into one line, and also have your waist as a part of that line. So it's not this, it's not, I can't even do it, it's not like this, right? You want this, this, and this to come into one line. So one thing that you're looking for when you're upside down is, are my thighs pushing towards the front of my body and my legs pushing behind my body? So I'm going to pull my thigh bones back, pull my waist back, so that heels, hips, waist, and shoulders are all stacked. And then push my tailbone towards the backs of my knees, pull your pubic bone towards your belly button towards your spine. So thigh bones are one thing that can pull you down. That's if you're doing too much of this, too much of the arch. It is possible to do too much of this also. And if that's the case, your back is going to pull you that way. So this is where it kind of becomes, we talked about being a steward of your own energy, also being a steward of your own practice, and really discovering what's happening in your body. So knowing, for some of us, it's too much of this, and the thigh bones are pulling you towards the front of your body. And for some of us, it's going to be too much of this, and your spine is pulling you towards the back of your body. So if you're somersaulting, if you find that when you're coming off the wall in a headstand, and you're somersaulting out of it, you're rolling out of it, or you're feeling like you're being pulled too much this way, it might be because your spine is too rounded. So if when I'm trying to bring my hips up, my spine is coming further back than my hips, it's hard to get my legs up. So that's why I'm trying to make my spine as long as can be to get my legs up. So right now, if I were to round my back, I'm afraid of falling. If I were to round my back right now, then that's what's going to pull me over. Usually I can fall on purpose, but right now I'm a little bit afraid of falling. But, so, I don't know if it's visible or not, but if I were to overly round my back would start to pull me this way. So, that's why just standing, it's important to notice, is your tendency to overly round, or is your tendency to overly arch? And really find where your body feels straight up and down. And the more that you can really memorize that muscularly standing, the easier it is to translate that shape upside down. Okay? So, just a brief review. Practice getting off the wall by bringing your legs off the wall, and then using your wall for feedback. Is your spine running towards the wall, or is your spine overly arching away from the wall? And can you find that happy medium in your body? And when you start to feel like you've gotten to know yourself pretty well at the wall, find a friend, ask them to be your spot, ask them to just watch you to make sure that you're not going to fall the other direction. They might even just have a hand up so that you feel confidence, because again, chances are when you're making that transition from wall to not wall, your mind is a lot of what's holding you back. So even just having an arm there can be helpful. Note for a spot. So if your person's kicking up this way, you don't want to stand directly in front of them. Kind of stand to the side of them, okay? So if you're helping each other, if you're helping your friend, just know, kind of be to the side so that they start to kick up, they're not going to kick you. All right, so I've already taken up enough of your time today. Cool down a little bit. When you're done with your practice, just stretch it out. Maybe do a forward fold or recline twist or a bridge pose. Take a brief shavasana or just sit and take a couple deep breaths. Let all of that sink in. Just kind of trust your body to take in what it can, what it needs to. And yeah, come back and do it again the next day. And as always, if you have any questions, if you have specific things that you want me to talk more about in the next video or two, please feel free to let me know. If you have specific questions to you, I'm always available. You can email me and we'll talk about it. All right? Thank you so much. I hope your practice is going well, and I'll talk soon.